Welcome back to Bottle Basics. Today we have a special treat. We're talking about Wild Turkey's Master Keep's final release, Beacon. Let's taste it. All right, good day everyone. I'm super stoked about today. I just picked up a bottle of this Master's Keep Beacon from Wild Turkey. This is a blend of 16-year and 10-year bourbons by the Master Distillers, Eddie and Bruce Russell, and it follows Wild Turkey's standard mash bill of 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. I think that's really interesting. It's that same mash bill across all of their bourbon lines, and somehow they're able to achieve a wide variety of tastes and profiles and characteristics across all the lines that they put out there. Wild Turkey, it's a huge brand, very well-known name in the game. And as far as distilling goes, same process there. Wild Turkey employs a column still process that gets funneled to a doubler, and then I think they barrel it at about 115 proof, and then age it however they're going to age it. Now, this is the final, or supposed to be the final release of the Master's Keep line. This is the 10th in this series. Full disclosure, this is only the second Master's Keep that I have. I'll review the other one at another date, but I'm looking forward to tasting this. I haven't popped it open and taken a swig yet, so you're gonna get the first exposure along with me. So I mean, without further ado, I don't need to talk about it too much longer. Let's get into it. All right. Now, I'm a big Wild Turkey fan, just in general. Thankfully, right now I'm in Japan, so I get to have some of their special offerings in the area, namely their 12-year, which is fantastic, especially for the price. But even when I'm stateside, Rare Breed is one of my go-to bourbons, and I'm a little bit of a proof whore. I love higher proofers, so this one coming out at 118 speaks to my heart. And Rare Breed kind of follows that same kind of mindset. But anyways, so looking at this guy, beautiful color there, just nice, deep, rich, kind of amber look. Oh wow, okay. On the nose, it's sweet. Sweet, you get maple, you get some spice and fruit notes, definitely some cherry, vanilla coming out. It smells rich, and look at how it sticks to the edge of the glass here as you roll it around. This is quite a different experience compared to the other one, Master's Keep Voyage. Which, I like that one too. This is very different, very different. It's not that, at 118 proof, I'd expect a little bit more of like a ethanol hit when I take a whiff, but no, it's very just dense in flavor. You get almost kind of a licorice if you go deep into it. Oh, that's really nice. You get a little bit of leather as things start to fade. And yeah, that oak keeps coming through as well. All right, enough. Let's taste it. Oh, wow. Yeah, so this is definitely pretty viscous. Like, you get a lot of oil that just coats the tongue. And you get really warm notes up front. The vanilla just blasts through. You get a good bit of oak and just like wood tannin kind of flavoring. And then as that fades, the cherry starts to shine through and you get like a finish of kind of leather. Honey's definitely there. Maybe a little bit of molasses, like a little bit of a darker kind of flavor. What was really interesting, before I went in and took that next sip, there was a flash of something really nostalgic to me. In the neighborhoods that I used to grow up in, there was a icy truck that would circle around, and you know that syrup that they would pour into that shaved ice. That's kind of what it gave me there, just like this really like high fructose kind of sensation. It's really nice. You know, it's a dense flavor. This is something that I think you can get away with a small pour and just really kind of nurse the drink, because there's a lot going on here. And even with tiny sips, I think you're getting the full exposure of what this thing is trying to offer you. I don't try to lean too much on age, but you can definitely get a lot of notes here that I would typically associate with older spirits. And I think that, like, I don't know what kind of ratios they blended this thing with, but you know, I feel like I can really tell there's a 16-year in there, just the way that the wood notes are kind of shining through and how kind of round and coalesced everything seems to be. You get just like a slight cinnamon or kind of like bakery pastry kind of brightness, kind of bright spice note, just right in the middle. So like it leads off with everything sweet and nice with the honey. In the middle, you get the fruit, you get some of the oak, and on the back end, you get the leather and some of the spice. Dude, I really like this. You know, I would hope so, right? It's not cheap, and depending on where you're at, I think it could be pretty hard to find. I got lucky stumbling across this. It was one that I was keeping my eye out for, and I just happened to step into my favorite store right when they restocked. And these things, they disappear pretty quick, at least in the area that I'm at. So pretty fortunate that I was able to grab one. And, you know, I'm fortunate to be in a position to be able to buy one too. I acknowledge that this isn't going to be an everyday drinker for me. It's probably going to be a special occasion kind of beverage. And, you know, drinking it for you fine folks here, which, you know, I could have a worse life. Pretty fortunate in that regard. Yeah. So I'm trying to like figure out some other things to pull out in here. Something that I keep coming back to is it's a really clean taste. Not clean as in like, if you say clean, maybe you'll think thin, but no, it's very rich, but there's nothing distracting in it. Nothing that feels kind of unpure. I feel like this is presenting to me exactly what it wants to, and nothing that's noise in the process. I can't say, might be a little bit of a different experience for someone that's not as into higher proof spirits, because that is something that you have to get used to and you have to work through. For me, this is home base for me, so I'm not having to deal with any of that. Okay, so I do want to say that as I'm working my way through the glass, some of the more forward, sweeter, round notes that I was perceiving early on are being overtaken a bit by some of the darker, more gritty flavors. More of the leather, more of the wood tannin, kind of like the chewing on bark kind of flavor, in a good way. And some of the darker notes are starting to come more to the front. So it's becoming a little bit less of a dessert, which I appreciate, because it was very sweet from the beginning, and now it's turning into something that's a little more savory. That could just be my palate getting used to it, but I mean, that's part of the experience, right? You drink the whole glass and it kind of evolves as you go. All right, so something that I haven't called out yet, there's definitely a chocolate, like a milk chocolate and a brown sugar kind of flavor going on here as we work through it. And, somewhat of a creaminess. So maybe an analog for this might be something akin to like a chocolate eclair, mixing all those like vanilla, chocolate, sugar, pastry notes in. A little bit of maple on top. Very like subtle, like smokiness, maybe. Not in the way of peat, but something's happening in there that's saying smoke to me as the darker wood and leather notes kind of mingle with everything else. You taste the char just a little bit. This is quite nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my purchase here. Now, for those of you that are stateside, this is what the back label looks like for us. You got all the kana over there. I can't read it. I've been here for about a year, so I can read hiragana actually pretty decently, but katakana, I know nothing. Kanji, definitely nothing. But I can speak it well enough to get around. And this is one side benefit. This and a couple of others. One weird thing out here is, blends is pretty easy to come by too. Pretty readily available in any store that you go in. So if you're a Buffalo's Trace fiend, maybe swing it out to Japan for a little bit. I don't know if it'd be worth the flight just to save a couple of bucks on blends, but choose your journey. I was trying to see if there's a little bit more complex of a fruit note or different kind of fruit note to associate with this, but no. It's really just that cherry that's kind of comparable to what you would get with maybe a Maker's Mark, but just higher proof and more intense. This is like a maraschino kind of dessert cherry that's mixed in there. And then you add to that underneath, you got the cherry here, and you put on top of that the maple, the honey, a little bit of licorice, a little bit of chocolate, some leather, some oak, and the cherry just kind of underneath. All of that is the foundation of this dessert beverage. Man, it's really good. And the cherry note can be a little bit off-putting to me sometimes. I think this is very balanced. I'm having to really search to pick it out, but it's certainly there. And as you experience it, it's kind of weaving in and out, going from the front at the very beginning to like the middle to the back, and now kind of resurging forward as your palate gets used to everything else. There's a lot going on here. With all the flavored notes that this thing is offering, it's really interesting to try to pick everything out. I would sometimes maybe scoff a little bit when I watch other sommeliers or reviewers talk about these drinks and then come out with these really descriptive and pointed analogs for the flavor. I'm talking about like strawberry shortcake or whatever. But I mean, I think I kind of get it because I'm getting that with this one. I think the chocolate eclair note was pretty spot on. There's a breadiness to this, a sweetness, a chocolatiness, honey, cream, vanilla. But you add to that just a little bit of a tiny bit of smoke and some leather and some earth, some foundation, and it's great. Quite the experience to be able to sit here and sip for you guys. All right, so here's the thing. Baby girls, 300 buckaroos. MSRP. I don't know what the secondary looks like for this. I didn't do research on that. And the scene that I'm in right now is very different. However, I think if you're in a position to spend that amount of cheddar on a spirit, I do think this one of the two so far, Master Keep iterations, this one definitely wins the cake. This is an excellent bottle to complete a 10 release line on. This is a fantastic one to cap it off. I think it's very good, very delicious, very complex and deep. It really does justice to the Wild Turkey name if you're a fan. And you know what? If you're not a fan of Wild Turkey, you still might like this because it's quite different than what you might be thinking inside your head for 101 or their standard release. I say give it a shot, or at least find a bar to get you a $50 pour of this bad boy, so you don't have to spend 300 buckaroos or whatever it's going to be for you. All right, so let's go to our radar chart. For sweetness, I'm going to put that at an 8. Smoke, put it at a 1. There's a little bit there. Spice, 2. Fruit, 4. Wood, 6. And character, hey, baby girl's an 8. I think this has a lot going on with her, and she's got a lot to offer. You know, it was a journey getting through that glass. Looking forward to maybe tapping into this bottle just a little bit. And you know what? I might actually allow her to donate just a little bit to my affinity bottle as well, and just lend some of that to spread everything out. All right, so without further ado, this is Bottle Basics. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next pour.